After Biden entered the White House, he began to undo some of Donald Trump's key policies. As the Deutsche Bank survey shows, nearly 90% of respondents see price bubbles. Today, I just want to point out that the current Bitcoin drop once again breaks the correlation with S&P 500. Welcome back to the Coin Post. There were lots of theories and predictions down to a new civil war, but they all failed, as Joe Biden has been sworn in as the 46th US president on January the 20th. Right after Biden entered the White House, we saw a new high on the stock market, an increase in gold, a drop in oil, and a Bitcoin crash. In general, each of those got some on the first day of Biden's presidency. So today, let's discuss the reasons and the future of the financial markets. Thank you for supporting our channel with your likes, and let's start. Officially, -1 risk of those that I had included earlier in my 2021 prediction, and we had a separate video about this. What else threatens the stock market, you're gonna find out by clicking the link in the description box. In the meantime, let's thank Donald Trump for agreeing to the transfer of power, despite all the impending events with the courts, rallies, and even storming the US Capitol. We also forgive him for breaking a long-standing tradition by refusing to attend Biden's inauguration. Indeed, Donald in his farewell speech hinted at the creation of his own political party, which is actually a risky move, because the annoyed Republicans, and Trump's party will be taking votes from them, may help Democrats vote for impeachment. The point is that even a backdated impeachment would make it impossible for Trump to rerun for president. After Biden entered the White House, he began to undo some of Donald Trump's key policies. Immigrants were given the green light, there won't be an oil pipe with Canada, America re-engaged with the World Health Organization to monitor greenhouse gases, and Bitcoin wallet owners are not threatened by sweeping verification. The last one didn't actually help the price of Bitcoin, but I'll tell you all about it at the end of the video. So, Biden also made wearing masks mandatory and promised to increase vaccination rates to 1 million people a day. What he didn't promise or do was lift the restrictions on China. Previously, Biden had hinted that there would be no rush to end the trade wars, and so far the situation is that America is not just giving up its place as the world's first economy. And that's one of the risks for 2021 that's still on the table. The stock market welcomed these changes with new highs. Facebook, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Apple are among the big gainers. Interestingly, the new administration supports antitrust investigations against these corporations and intends to raise taxes for them. But the market did what it did. In many ways, this may have been a belated reaction to the previously promised nearly $2 trillion new stimulus to the economy, or the announcement by the future head of the Ministry of Finance, Janet Yellen, that she's willing to flood the markets with money to avoid a recession. In general, if Biden keeps his word, and we don't get black swans, the S&P 500 may continue to rise, although the euphoria in stocks is really off the scale. But it's something for future predictions, and now we're moving on to the other financial markets. On the first Biden's day, the price of gold surged almost 2%, which is quite solid for this market. And in general, the chart looks quite good, making me want to say that gold intends to make a second attempt to break the downward trend and return to rise. But it's too soon to talk about it. In favor of the gold rise is the fact that it tends to hit new highs when markets are full of liquidity, but people are afraid to invest it in stocks. There's plenty of liquidity, thanks to the Fed, and according to Biden's plans, there'll be even more. Gold is popular as a defensive asset against inflation, which will continue inflation targeting. And as I said earlier, you gotta scare investors a little for them to buy gold as a hedge. As the Deutsche Bank survey shows, nearly 90% of respondents see price bubbles. But seeing and doing something are two different things, so there is a chance of gold rising again. However, I feel like it's too early to begin this trend. The oil market is a major one, and Biden's presidency is not the best option for it. On the one hand, they promised new financial incentives. On the other, the dollar index has gone down again. That makes perfect sense though, because as the economy recovers, so does demand. But in the long run, Biden's administration is set to focus on green energy. I don't expect the US to pressure its oil industry, but I expect it to move toward reducing hydrocarbon emissions. As for the oil, they could sell it to China or Europe, for instance. It would therefore be advantageous for the states to keep the price at a level of profitability of their shale oil. Unless, of course, Biden recognizes it as the destroyer of nature. It doesn't make much sense to let the market rise. As for the current decline, it was influenced by new lockdowns in Europe and the information about the new outbreak of coronavirus in China. There are only dozens of patients involved, but for China even that counts as a lot, as they decided to limit their flights. Overall, so far, nothing critical happened, and we shouldn't expect a drop below the support at $54 per Brent barrel. And of course, I couldn't pass up the Bitcoin situation, and I'm gonna tell you about it right now, after I remind you of a new trend to subscribe to our channel that started in January. I'm so glad that more and more people are choosing my videos and finding them fascinating and helpful, so join our community. Reversing Trump's policies, Biden also removed the regulator's offer to pay closer attention to the Bitcoin wallet owners. That's great news, but I guess you already know that it didn't really work out for it. There was other cool news, such as interest in Bitcoin futures from BlackRock's largest investment company and a new $300 million into the Grayscale fund. The price already dropped below $32,000. How low it could drop, I shared in my previous video. I won't repeat myself, I'll just leave a link in the description box. Check it out. Today, I just want to point out that the current Bitcoin drop once again breaks the correlation with S&P 500. We've seen this before, and I'm sure we'll see this again. But for the moment, I'm of the opinion this fall is not the end of the world. It may continue or stop at any time. And in the meantime, we continue to move in line with the global growth cycle, so if you're a long-term investor, there's no reason to panic. If anything changes and I see signs of a cryptocurrency collapse or another financial market, I'll let you know right away, so join our YouTube community not to miss that. And I'm counting on your support with your likes and shares, and that's it for today. Thanks for watching, it's the Coin Post channel. Subscribe and get enlightened.